Hip-hop moments of clarity.
Hip-hop moments of clarity.
What's up? This is Vanessa Satin, editor-in-chief of XXL, here with JFK, Roger, and Bari.
What's up?
What up? Where's Wayno?
Wayno sucks. I don't know, so I'm just keep saying until he shows back up. All right, slower
Wayno, we
week
miss
because
you.
Kanye shut up, right? Somebody got him off. Somebody said, dude, you're fucking destroying yourself. Fall back from all the tweets and everything, right? Who was that? His wife? His wife's mom?
Maybe
Right.
his peers, businesses,
peers,
Adidas. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't even know. Maybe this was all part of his plan to just come and.
I'm not listening to that email you sent out. This is performance art. You guys are giving them way too much credit for plotting and planning.
Yeah, there was that.
I didn't even reply to that email. I was like, I'm not buying this, JFK. I'm not even responding.
I saw that.
Everyone was talking about it. I was like, no.
It was interesting, but yeah. It's
Yeah.
too, that's going out.
It's a little far-fetched, right?
Yeah.
There's a theory of basically that all of these shenanigans that Kanye's been doing
No.
is a grand performance art scheme, and he's
No.
going to have a big reveal when the album comes out.
What are they going to reveal it with? What? Ha ha ha. All my nuttiness was a joke?
Right, yeah, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Fuck Trump.
That's honestly
The
what
big
I was hoping
zinger,
it'd be
right?
at first.
Yeah, right?
Bring back Obama 2020.
I was hoping it'd be for his campaign for 2024.
You should.
Right.
That's actually that's a really good hat idea. Bring back Obama.
Bring back Obama.
Sure.
I don't make hats, but okay.
But that slogan could
But
say,
I will think about it now.
Right.
All right. So what we have today is being the issue, or probably the biggest thing this week, is Spotify banning R. Kelly and XXXTentacion from playlists.
Right, right.
That's crazy.
And that's it, right? That's all we know of for sure. It's those two. Is it more? What do we know? Does Tekashi fit in there or no? Does anybody call him Tekashi besides me? Is he just 60?
I think it might be just
69.
Is it
I don't know.
69?
Right, 69.
6ix9ine.
I think 6ix9ine also was omitted from playlist as well today. So,
But
yeah.
they didn't mention him though in the
They didn't
report,
mention
right?
him, but people have sort of noticed, like, you know, he's not in like Rap Caviar and like their other popular playlists. But I believe those are the only three that have been affected thus far.
Right.
From what it sounds like, they're just getting started, and they're gonna probably be removing more people from these lists. So
Yeah.
I guess we have to see how it plays out. But
All right. So what we're saying is that they're removed from playlists, but you can still get their music on Spotify. They're just not promoting these artists.
right,
And
right,
promotion
correct.
would be putting them in a playlist.
Playlist or
Correct.
in the main once you click
When you
click
sign
into-
in
yeah,
and
sign
them as
in.
art and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. What do you guys think of that? Bari doesn't care or is
Bari forgot his
Really
sleeves
over
today.
it. I don't Bari forgot his
Like, because first of all, first of all, I mean, people are still gonna be looking for their albums. People are still gonna be listening to their music. They're gonna
Right.
add them to their own playlist.
That's true.
Yeah. And I
Like-
feel like with this situation, people are only gonna be listening more to and wanting to find out more about XXX and
No,
R.
XXX
Kelly.
comes out with a new
Publicity.
album next week. What happens? I'm just making
Oh,
it up.
they're gonna double, triple his hits just because of this controversy.
hits where?
Controversy sells. Well, I guess not. The people can still listen to it on Spotify. It's just
Yeah.
not.
I mean, the thing is, you have to look for it,
Right.
and so it won't affect his fans that are going to check for him anyway. But
Look for it legitimately means typing in the words,
right,
the
But it's-
letters XXX and seeing if it comes up.
Right.
right,
Okay.
and spelling XXXTentacion correctly.
All they have to do is put XXX.
True. Okay, but I mean, the other part of that is like it won't affect his fans that are going to check for him anyway. But like the people that are, you know, a little bit more casual listeners, and they just go to Rap Caviar or whatever playlist. You know, I think that's their biggest playlist. That gets a ton of plays, and I think they'll lose out on plays in that regard. So I think it'll definitely.
Tuma's not there anymore.
I think it'll
Shout out
definitely.
to Tuma though, but he's not there anymore.
So yeah, I think it'll definitely affect them in that way.
Now, none of these guys were actually convicted of a crime. So how do you feel about that?
It's wrong.
Right.
It's wrong. I mean, if you're gonna point out two people, might as well point out everybody else that's been supposedly, allegedly did things. I just feel like they took the initiative, but I think it would have been a little bit more planned out if they included a lot more people. as opposed to just 2 artists.
Right.
But it comes down to show me the videos. It's allegedly everything. It's not. There's no facts yet. So.
Right.
I mean,
True.
There's a video of our cut. Well,
I saw the Dave Chappelle video. I didn't see the other one.
What's the Dave Chappelle video?
It was a beautiful song. Peanut. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were back there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of a slippery slope. I think it's an ambitious idea on Spotify's part, and it seems like, I guess they're trying to do the right thing. But it's sort of like, well, where do you draw the line? You know, are you gonna then take people who are producers like a Dr. Luke, you know, who's problematic and he has all these huge hits? So you're gonna take his songs off of Spotify playlists?
You've got so. Look
at the thing with details today.
XXX's team told the New York Times, I don't have a comment, just a question. Will Spotify remove all the artists listed from playlists? Gene Simmons of Kiss from sexual battery. Red Hot Chili Peppers, I guess as a whole group, sexual assault. David Bowie, rape allegations. Backstreet Boys, Nick Carter, sex assault. Seal, sexual battery. James Brown, domestic violence. Michael Jackson, sexual abuse of a minor. Miles Davis, domestic abuse. Sid Vicious of Sex Pistols, domestic violence and murder. Nelly, sex assault. Miguel, sexual misconduct. Trey Songz, domestic violence. Fabulous, domestic violence. Dr. Dre, domestic violence. Then you've got the history of other rappers that aren't listed here, R&B artists. Then you've got people who are part of a group, and maybe the group is not everybody's done something but one member. So do you hold the whole group responsible?
Right.
So it's an interesting thing of what's going on with Spotify. What are they? Who is there saying, okay, this crosses the line, this doesn't?
Right.
What they did was, because of the list that I just read, I don't know offhand. This is from XXX's team. I don't know which ones were found guilty and which ones were just stories.
Right.
So is there a difference between you're a convicted felon of sexual assault, a convicted sex offender, a convicted of domestic violence, and then I think it's the interesting thing is people are being persecuted for things that they technically haven't been found convicted of, which means that we're skewing towards a guilty until proven innocent, right?
Right.
Or is that too sensitive? I don't know. It just that's the slippery slope to me. Is I guess it's Spotify's become a moral court, right? They're the moral police. They're the morality police. That's what we're saying. Because if it's not based off of convictions, it's based off of morality, right?
Right. And I guess
so we're living off of the morality
opinion?
and public opinion and morality clause and Big Brother feelings of Spotify. And this is just the conversation I've been seeing today.
Yeah. I mean, it's a touchy subject. I mean, I'm all for, promoting, sending the right message, but at the same time, I don't think that, if you're not proven guilty, then...
Now, the argument's going to be that R. Kelly might not have been proven guilty, and when you're wealthy, you might get lawyers that can help you make deals and get out of things that you don't get the punishment that the regular person might get.
Right.
So is it like, okay, R. Kelly's been a creep for years, and finally... we're going to make a statement, even though they weren't able to catch him years ago in court or with the Aaliyah stuff or whatever. Yeah. And then how does he compare to XXX and him compare?
They don't.
Right, yeah.
They don't. R. Kelly's been around for so long.
Well, you've got a guy that's been around 20 plus years that probably has been arguably the most influential R&B voice person in the music industry in the last 20 years. And we know his whole history. Now you've got X, who's been around for 1 or 2 years, right?
One of the hottest, youngest artists.
He hasn't been found convicted and doesn't have the same history, the 20-year history, but then it seems like they might be being treated equally. No? Yes?
Right, yeah.
I'm just trying to bring up both sides.
It feels like they are treated equally, but I still don't come back to, why them two, though?
Well, then if you take Tekashi, I don't know if that's his name anymore, 6ix9ine, right?
Yeah.
And then he's been... found guilty of a crime,
right.
pled guilty to a crime. He was removed, but doesn't that make him different than the other two because he's acknowledged the crime or no?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like it's a very, what are your bullet points of what is a violation and what warrants? That's what I think would make sense from Spotify's. How are you coming up with who you're persecuting and who you're not,
and
right?
Are they going to do this with more artists, and if so, is it going to only be hip-hop artists?
Right.
Yeah,
That's the question
that's
too,
just-
and I think that's part of what X's team's
Was
point
saying.
was that, you know, there were a few rap guys on there, but it was generally rock and other genres, and I think it was sort of playing the race or the hip hop card of like, all right, well, are you gonna also treat, you know, these white artists the same way?
And does it become this right when hip hop becomes the most dominant music in the music form of music in the music industry? Now all of a sudden you have a moral police when hip hop's around and hip hop's
Right,
prevalent, and all of a sudden you've got unredeemable characters.
Right.
But it wasn't that way if you rewound 10 years ago when R. Kelly was still up to whatever he was doing and hip hop wasn't the dominating music force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's.
It still feels like the response, it's like, so we can have this conversation, but I don't really think there's much of an answer. You've got Spotify as now a public company. They're going to be more cognizant of what they're doing. It seems like the frustration or the people, it has to come from the artists. The artists have to say, hey, fuck you, Spotify. If you're going to judge us this way, don't play my music. But I don't think they would do that.
Right.
Here's the thing: R. Kelly's music doesn't talk about any of what he's
Yes and no. I mean, it talks about sex. It just doesn't talk about sex with young girls.
Exactly.
He's not specifying the age.
It doesn't
but you could
promote that.
assume that if he likes young girls and he's got that interview where he's like, how young teen are we talking?
Right.
That what he's writing about or singing about is going down with young girls.
Yeah.
So he's not saying she was 15 or she was 14 in the song, but
Right.
it's for us to assume that what he's singing about is going on with a young girl because of the rumors.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of music that literally talks about, almost glorifies more violent things, or
I don't think they're judging them on their
music.
music. I think they're
That's the
judging outside of the music.
Exactly.
I think they're
So
judging
they're-
on a whole other basis.
So this is against not their music, but
Their morale.
yeah.
Yeah, like I guess their real life actions.
Well, who's they?
Yeah.
It's Spotify's deciding that they have a moral compass as a brand that they're going to put in place in a certain way.
Yeah.
Which, at some point, if you feel it's some sort of threat, I guess you have to do as a brand.
Right. Yeah. I
Or
wonder
they're
if, like-
they're taking an active decision and saying, "Hey, fuck that, people are not going to be celebrated. Nobody else is doing it. We're doing it."
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, also maybe, like, did sponsors have anything to do with that? Did, like, certain sponsors reach out to
Right.
them and be like, listen, but you got a playlist with R. Kelly and we don't want our brand associated with that. Did that have something to do with it?
Yeah,
You know?
I thought about that, and I thought about the Mute R. Kelly movement, and you know, if
The R. Kelly
maybe they were
movement is
being
not a good one for him.
right, and maybe if people
The
were
anti-R. Kelly
reaching out
movement, yeah.
to Spotify, like, yo, you know, get this dude off of your playlist.
Right. If Spotify have advertisers, the advertisers are putting pressure on them. You've got to make a decision somewhere. And then what does Apple do? Is Apple too
Right.
big for that? What? Can they not be pushed around? Can Spotify? I don't really know the business side of it. I just
Right.
think it's interesting with the two artists that they started off with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, publicly.
And then is, like, Apple Music going to follow? Are they going to partner up with Spotify? Which you will
Right.
never see that probably. But, like, everybody has
Follow
to be
suit,
in
yeah.
you
The
know?
question is Apple going to make a statement now too? Are they entitled,
Right.
pushed into a situation where they have to say, hey, you know, we're monetizing you guys, we're these, and what about Billboard?
Exactly.
Right. And then also Billboard, I think, is a bit more objective than Spotify, Apple, but I think it'll be interesting if what Apple does, and if they choose not to, or if I don't see them making a statement saying that they're not going to. But
They
if they
just don't
choose
do
not
anything
to,
is the statement.
Right.
right. And if they get backlash for that too, you know, like how do people
Or does it
respond to
even
that?
matter?
Or does it matter?
Because I thought was interesting is I only saw one rapper at all speak on it today.
Right.
Like there's some industry people here. 50 was the only person I saw actually
Right.
make a comment on it. So it's like, yeah, we're in this weird situation where we're literally dictating what rapper can be promoted and not, but the rappers don't seem to care.
Right.
Or they don't want to mess up their relationship with Spotify. I expected at least more rappers to say something.
Right.
True. I just don't see how they're going to uphold this sort of like morality compass, especially now where it's just, I don't know. I mean, do you, like, what's the cutoff of like when someone should be punished for this? Like, do you not include Gucci Mane on your playlist because he's killed someone? And we know that he's killed someone, like it's, you know, and you know it's documented.
I
You know
got
what I mean?
a
Like-
KD Music tweeted and in some sort of conversation. What about Snoop Dogg, who like 20 years ago was on trial for murder and to this day still reps Crip? T.I. and how many times felon? 50, been in trouble with the law numerous times, as has Eminem. This is going to have to remove a shitload of artists with this new policy.
Right.
But does it? Like, what I'm confused by is what's the line of who's going to, are we saying this, like what happens with Michael Jackson? That's what I keep going back to. Like, do you remove Michael Jackson or not? We have 2 charges of assaulting a minor, right? Where it wasn't even that he was found not guilty; it was that they settled, right?
Yeah.
So if I've got to do my research on that, but I don't think he was found not guilty. He definitely wasn't found guilty. So I think he settled with both of them before the trial came to an end, which I'll Google in a sec. So what happens with the best of Michael Jackson? Can they not Spotify not do that anymore because he was allegedly molesting cancer patients?
Right.
Yeah, it's see, I don't know. I feel like should have been planned out a little bit more. You know what I mean? Thought about just can't go after 2 people when there's a shitload of people that have done crazy shit, probably worse shit. You know?
Yeah.
So, yes, this is, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out.
I'd like to say what I'm scared of.
What's that?
From this. I don't know, conspiracy shit, but all right. Well, first of all, if Apple doesn't respond, let's say Spotify were to censor more people from their playlists, and Apple doesn't respond, billboards, whatever, they don't do the same thing, more people will be gearing towards Apple. More people, like, Spotify will lose some of its listeners.
Right.
Now, what I am scared of is if everything starts getting censored out until the point that hip hop no longer, like raw hip hop is no longer being promoted on any of these platforms, and it's just pop now.
Right.
Yeah. It's. I mean, why
Was
go
that-
after
was that too,
the legend of R&B and go after the hottest kid right now and one of the hottest kids in hip hop? Like, it's just.
Right.
I don't know. It's just something there doesn't, like, but you let the rock dude slide.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Michael Jackson in 2005 was found not guilty.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm wrong about that. Let's make sure. And then I haven't found the other thing yet. I do think he settled on the other one, though. But yeah, in 1994, Jackson reached a financial settlement of $23 million. So he settled with one kid and then was found guilty with the other. Sorry, I apologize. Found not guilty with the other. So I don't know where that stands. I don't know. I'm not working for Spotify right now. I have no idea what the line is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it was a hectic day with all the response they
Dealing with
got.
a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Do you think, my bad, V, do you think, like, media-wise, do you think, like, that'll trickle down into media as well? Or is that, like, just going to stay in the streaming service stuff like that?
I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I don't know what. I didn't see this coming. I don't know
I'm
what.
just, like, so confused.
Yeah, I don't know what it is anymore. I mean, we have our own problem with all of that.
Right,
trying to
right,
figure
of
out
course.
how you write about someone if they are more of an unredeemable character, and then are you giving them press and are you celebrating them? I think everybody's been dealing with that with Tekashi to a degree and trying to figure out how to write about them and how to support them or how to not or what is support or what isn't. So I think while we're all confused of what to do, every kind of media outlet, Spotify made a move. So, we could knock them all day long, I guess, to a degree for the decision they made, but they still did make a decision of something that I think a lot of people or a lot of brands or a lot of businesses don't know how to deal with right now, is some of the characters that aren't the best people. Now, how is that different from the past? I mean, you can go through a list of people who we celebrated who aren't the best characters or have questionable backgrounds, but maybe it feels like it's a little bit more in hip hop than ever before, or maybe people are more sensitive because I'm not really sure. I don't know what to make of any of it anymore, but I think what we can get from it is that Spotify made a decision on how to do something. Now, we might not agree with it. We might agree with it, blah, blah, blah. But still, they did put a step forward in whatever this issue is today of not knowing how to deal with some of these guys and women.
True.
Yeah, I just feel like it's going to be more confusion, too. Like, especially, Spotify keeps those rules, then Apple doesn't. Then, Tidal has different type of rules. Then when are we all going to be on the, on the same page?
They're different companies. Are Puma and Nike on the same page?
Yeah.
And I mean, we're still in the Wild West of what the internet and what business is, and there is some sort of backlash to characters out there today that aren't that appealing in their personal side to brands, to people not wanting to endorse them. However, people are going to listen to it and the music's big. How do you deal with someone who's sitting on the top of the charts yet is kind of not touchable in the sense of endorsements or anything? And I think this is a proactive way to approach that for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Why they felt that they had to, what pressure they were getting internally to make the decision versus let somebody else make the first move, I'm not really sure. But it's definitely in response to everything that we struggle with.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see, and I don't even know if this will ever become public because probably Spotify has access to this, but how taking people off of these playlists affects their overall streams and their overall play counts.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder, what does it do for SoundCloud? You know, I mean, if you're XXX, can you say pull my music altogether from Spotify? I don't even want it on... I don't even want it on there altogether. You can't have my music at all. I don't even know the legal side of it, you know?
Right.
Fine, you're not going to put me in playlists. Well, I don't want to be on there. XXX fans can't go to Spotify to get my music. I've made that decision. Or because he's an artist and he's public and it's art and it's music, can they pick it up regardless? Or can you literally say, I don't want to be streamed by you? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
And
I get the feeling Spotify's still figuring things out.
Yeah.
And it also might not even... I mean, who knows? Maybe it won't even affect them that much. Maybe their fans will still make their own playlists or just listen to them on their own.
I think, I mean, you could say some people look at Rap Caviar or different playlists as almost charts, right?
Right.
So I think what you're saying is now, if you're not taking all the players and giving all the players the valid opportunity to place on the chart, then how accurate is your chart, or is your heat index, or is your so-and-so? So if, you know, if X is so in demand, and I guess there's a difference between X being listened to and R. Kelly. It's not even like people are checking for new R. Kelly. So if X is so in demand and you go to Rap Caviar and that's supposed to be the pulse of what's going on in hip-hop and certain artists aren't on there, can they be the pulse anymore? And how accurate are any of their rankings? I'm not really sure.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't even know what the rankings count for. But I think that's the interesting part of it, is that there could be a huge song that's not going to be able to be listed.
Right.
Right? And so you're going to go to something thinking you're hearing the hot music of right now, but they've eliminated artists that are part of that. So you're not really getting an accurate representation of what's hot in hip-hop right now, right?
Right.
Is that a problem?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Depends on what you trust, right? So
Yeah.
what people have to decide is, and we talked about this in the office maybe last week. So you've got an Apple chart, you've got a Spotify chart, you've got a Billboard chart, you've got all these different charts, and some of them quantify each other in them. But you've got this competition of what chart matters these days, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got a thing that, well, maybe we're saying the Spotify listing of things and saying what's hot is not as accurate as whatever includes everybody.
Right.
Does that matter? Does that dismiss them from the conversation? I don't think they ever claimed that the Spotify Rap Caviar playlist was a chart, but I think they looked at it that way a little, but maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely impacts the numbers, I think, that week a lot. Like who's added to that chart.
Exactly, right? And so then you would think it would affect the other charts.
Right, yeah.
So they would probably get affected chart-wise, which would
Probably
then
the
mean...
Billboard chart will get affected in a way, because figure if XXX isn't on, Rap Caviar isn't on, I know there are other popular playlists that he's a part of as well, or was.
Or was, yeah.
Right, so that would also contribute to those streams and...
Right, so if he would have been number one on Billboard, but can't be number one on Billboard because he's been eliminated from all the charts on Spotify, then he's being eliminated as a candidate for a number one album, a number one song? I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, maybe he comes in at number 3 instead or something like that. Or
Right, maybe he comes
whatever.
in number 3 when he rightfully is
Right.
number one in the country at the moment, but because of how the numbers are working, we can't reflect what the proper number one is, or they can't
Right.
reflect. We're going to see what it means.
Yeah.
We really
Yep.
don't know. I mean, streaming as a whole confuses me.
Mhm.
It was so much easier when you sold records, and it was like,
Exactly.
you sold 500,000 records.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Now
CDs.
it's a little confusing, you know?
Mhm.
We're going to see, but also this week, we're going to skip over Spotify because that's beaten to death by us, right? What else? This week was Childish Gambino, a.k.a. Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, and Saturday Night Live, and Friendos, which was great. And the music
Hilarious.
video.
This is America.
Yes.
Yep.
What did you guys... Well, Bari watched it 100 times. Roger has not watched it 100
No.
times.
All those views on YouTube are from Barry.
Sleepless Barry.
That's on me.
I mean, I like.
Yeah.
What'd you guys love about it? What I mean, obviously it was huge this week. What did you guys in particularly think it was so amazing? Why? Not arguing it, just asking.
I think the song was good. The song is dope. It's creative. It's catchy. How it's like not really whole verses.
Yeah, that was the interesting part of it. Yeah.
And then like the ad libs, like all those things about it, I thought was cool for the song. The video is just obviously very provocative. Him sort of holding a mirror up to America and saying, this is what it is. And I think visually it's really dope. Hero is an amazing director. He does a lot with Atlanta, but he killed it. I like just the discussion about all the the symbolism, the different meanings of things, the reference to the Charleston shooting, the reference to Jim Crow, and just so many like subtle messages in there. I thought was cool to have that piece of film that you can watch over and over and catch something different every time.
I feel like he did everything that everyone who tries to speak out about something tries to do.
Well, that's what
Right.
we were before. We were saying it seems like that's the kind of thing we're expecting from Kanye and
Exactly.
Chance,
Yeah.
and we got it from Childish Gambino. Do you guys agree?
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if
I'd
Kanye
say
came
so.
out with something like that and was a little bit more political, and that was direction he was going,
We'd
we'd be in a whole different conversation.
Yeah, exactly. We'd
Right.
just be like, yo, Kanye's always been this genius. And
So
all
is there any
Right.
disappointment that it's coming from Donald Glover, or no for you guys?
I don't think
Not
so.
disappointment.
Yeah, I think definitely not disappointment. I mean, I think he's shown more and more in his art, like a willingness to go in a direction that people don't expect and try different things. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think it also is just part of just ushering him in as like one of the important voices in both film, TV, and music.
Without a doubt. I
Yes.
mean, he's a complete triple, quadruple,
Yeah.
quintuple threat, right?
Right.
In everything that he does. And then it's interesting because he's announced that his last album's going to come up, right? So
Yep.
he's not in it for the long
I'm
haul,
sorry, what?
music-wise.
I'm sorry, what? What'd you say? He announced what?
I just got scared.
Chill, B.
What?
Really? Donald
I
Glover
didn't
said
announce
that.
it,
Yep.
Oh my god.
Last album.
Yeah, I don't like him.
but he
no
announced
more,
it
bro.
last year, right?
He's not
I think it was last year he announced that. Mhm.
after Awaken My Love.
I don't know exactly when he announced it. I was corrected earlier when they told me it was last year.
Yeah.
I just know he announced it.
Mhm.
Oh, man.
So the next album is gonna be his last. But This Is America is not gonna be on that album.
Okay.
This is just
Just a
Just a regular
standalone
single?
song.
yeah, it's a standalone
Like
song
Cardi
video.
B's single should have been.
Right.
Since it came out like 9 months before the actual album.
Yeah.
Okay. It's my little dig there with Bodak Yellow.
No, but Childish Gambino, I haven't seen the video, but
Okay.
Roger, we told you not to say
I know,
that.
my bad. But I always think that Childish Gambino is a rapper that always thinks outside the box, and from visuals to the presentation, it just stands alone compared to anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think the people in the video looked like they were having a good time. Like the video was definitely poignant, but the dance scenes, people look like they thoroughly enjoyed the experience of whatever they were making.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like the scene with the students dancing around him,
Right.
they seemed so into it. Like I think people on set knew the importance of the video they were making. It
Yeah.
feels like, and people feel like, I don't know, just watching it, there was not a sense of joy because there's, a very political
Right.
thing, but there definitely seemed like people were invested in whatever we just watched, you know?
Yeah,
Which
and
I-
all you could see was like clips on Instagram, on Twitter of just the video itself. Of,
Yeah, I saw
of
that
people's
first.
favorite parts, So I mean, the reaction from people online was just super positive. So
Yeah.
and people need that nowadays, especially after Kanye stuff.
Straight up, yeah.
They need that.
Perfect timing.
Okay, so Devil's Advocate, a video like that comes out. He doesn't really speak on it too much. It just comes, it has the impact it does, and then it goes. Should there have been more? Should there be some dialogue coming from the artist or so-and-so when you make something like that? If it's such a conversational piece, should it by Thursday not be the second news item of the week.
Right.
Just my question is again, devil's advocate, when you make a video like that, what happens next? What's the message? It opens this door to this dialogue, and then what?
Right. I mean, I think some artists feel like they need to, like, really push a conversation with their art, as in, like, putting their art out and then talking about it. And then it seems like Childish take is, here, I'm putting this out, you guys talk about it. You guys figure out what it means. You guys break it down. Whatever it means to you, that's what it means. And I think that's interesting because, I mean, there has been a lot of intellectual thought about it. There's been a lot of just people talking about it. So, I mean, I think, I don't think he necessarily has a responsibility to carry it out and see it through. I think, he's an artist and he makes art and that's sort of his job. And,
yeah, I think it's kind of following the same thing as like what Cole does, what Kendrick Lamar does. They don't, or more like Kendrick Lamar.
Their stuff.
Yeah, they don't go and explain it, but they leave it right there for you to, you take it as you want it. You know what I'm saying? Like the Jay-Z album, the 444. If you picked up the gems from there, then you did your job listening to the album well. If you didn't, then it was just another album for you.
Yeah. The thing I do think is interesting about the video particularly is like I wonder who the intended audience was for that video. Like when I watch it, I don't feel like it's necessarily for me in a way. Like as much as I think it's a dope visual and has a lot of messages in it and stuff, it's sort of like, at least me personally, like I kind of know these things, like I think the rap audience I think knows like, there's gun violence. We know about the Charleston shooting. We know about all these terrible things that happen. So I wonder if it's sort of like a wake up call in a sense to, audiences that are not black, basically.
Well, I do see it as I do believe that black people is part of its intended audience because one of the things that I picked up as a viewer was how they had those dances in between shootings and all that stuff. Like
there was an African dance in there too.
Yeah, and there's just like it's a shooting and then boom, next scene he's making crazy faces and doing I don't even remember all the names of these dances, but like main popular hip hop dances, like like
the shoot
right
dance
after that, like like this, like you shoot, like something
Black
crazy
Boy, yeah.
happens, like there's that shooting, and then you move on immediately. Like the whole visual is him just moving. Everything is just moving on,
right?
And then you're having fun, and then something crazy happens again.
Right.
This is America, and then you move on. This is America, kind of shit. So I do feel like it does have a broad audience that it was intended to reach.
Right.
But I do also feel like it was intended, for me.
Yeah.
All right. Big video. Next piece. What else do we have going on? It gets kind of small after that. I mean, we have Johnny Depp attacking a crew member on the set of the Tupac movie. Or Tupac, Biggie, whatever, L.A., Russell Poole movie.
Okay.
Barry doesn't read hip-hop news during the week, apparently. Yeah.
No, you said Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and his little mustache.
Johnny Depp
the actor.
Jack Sparrow.
He's in, yeah.
Edward Scissorhands. Is that the
What movie is he in again?
There's a new movie called City of Lies, which was called Labyrinth before, and it looks like it's not totally right, but it looks like it's investigating Russell Poole was one of the detectives, or covering Russell Poole as one of the detectives during the whole Tupac murder out there and the corrupt LAPD at the time and everything post the death of Biggie and Tupac. And it looks like, I think Johnny Depp is playing Russell Poole. And then Forrest Whitaker's in it, and I forgot who he's playing. I'm a little confused of what the story is yet, but apparently it's Tupac and Biggie related, and during the shooting, Johnny Depp attacked a crew member.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but the director, I don't remember his name, supported Johnny Depp in whatever happened.
Okay.
Interesting.
So the crew member is now upset.
I don't know. I don't have all of that information. I think the whole thing's crazy to me. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. We're still hearing information on it, but that did happen.
Right.
It was just
Does
weird.
Johnny Depp listen to hip hop? Is that what's going on? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I
why
don't
I'm
know.
just like,
I do a hip hop junkies.
He looked like a rock type of dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But it was just weird this week. You know, I'm on the site, XXLmag.com. Make sure you go check it out. Log on. And I see a photo of Johnny Depp, and I'm like, what is Johnny Depp doing on
It was
XXL?
huge traffic
yeah,
for
I
us,
was
yeah.
like,
Right.
what is this? And then I read this story. I was like, interesting. There's another
Sources
Tupac
have
Biggie
told
movie.
Page Six that Depp attempted to punch the movie's location manager after he tried to intervene in a scene that the Pirates of the Caribbean star had taken over directing.
So Johnny Depp was hating?
Johnny Depp's been having a rough couple of years. Apparently, he attacked somebody on his set.
Bizarre.
It said that Depp had cast two of his friends as a cop and a homeless man in the scene and had been smoking and drinking all day when he decided to take the reins from the director, Brad Furman, on set. However, when crew's filming permit ran out, a location manager came to inform Furman that the filming had to wrap in order to reopen the street in downtown LA, and Brad interjected, "Tell that to Johnny Depp." And apparently shit hit the fan, and whatever happened, now the director is on Johnny's side. Okay, reminds me of like when we saw Russell Simmons and Azalea Banks reported on a news
yeah.
item. We're like, what is Russell Simmons on our website for?
Yeah.
Wait, Russell Crowe.
No, Russell Crowe.
Oh, shit.
Russell
Russell
Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
That's
like, wait.
screwed, yeah. Well, what was
Wrong
well,
Russell. Wrong Russell.
Russell Simmons has had some bad news lately. It was like, yeah, Russell Crowe was on it. Too many Russells. Russell Brand, all of a sudden. We were like,
A lot
wow.
of
No.
Russells.
Wow, what happened to Russell?
Russell, which one?
Brand.
Russell Brand.
He sobered up.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
what
why
it
he's
is. I
not
think he's
funny.
all sober now.
That's why he's not funny.
No,
Goddamn.
And I got a call from my mom the other day. She was like, Russell Brand is amazing. I was like, what?
Did you like
What?
Jesse forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No, she did not watch that. No, she saw an interview with him, and I guess he was very enthralling in the interview, but it's like a whole new post. I'm happy, I'm married, I'm sober, I'm in a different space in life. I don't know why we're talking
This
about it.
happened after Amy Winehouse
Right.
passed. Yeah, I know. This happened after Amy Winehouse passed, though, right? Him sobering up and everything. Of course.
Yeah, because this was like recently, and she died years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Is there a connection between them? I don't remember.
I don't
Yeah,
think. I thought it was
they
Katy
were
Perry.
together.
No, he was with
Yeah,
Katy
that's
Perry.
Yeah.
Whoa, Russell Brand.
Just
He was with Amy Winehouse.
What
No,
Russell
he
are you
was
thinking
not.
about, bro?
She not at all.
Holy shit. What am I thinking?
Go find your sleeves. No, you're on a different. You're as confused as I am on the different Russells at the moment. All right, 2 Chainz at the Met Gala. The Met Gala happens, and all sorts of rappers are there dressed up. There's a lot of Versace going on in the Migos world.
Yep.
And then you had Nicki and Cardi, I guess, squash beef, or at least were cool with each other. And then you had 2 Chainz proposing to his long-term girlfriend on the red carpet. And yeah, hip-hop takes over the Met Gala.
Yeah, it seems like it's been taken since last year. The hip hop presence has been crazy.
But we're all waiting on Rihanna, right? That's the whole thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
The Pope outfit, yeah,
Whatever she's going to do every
Yeah.
year. I think we're kind of just waiting to see what Rihanna does.
yeah. But I think 2 Chainz took.
I'm
a
not
good-
really waiting on any of it. Whatever.
I think 2 Chainz took the opportunity, and it was pretty cool to see that. You know, you don't really see a rapper propose to their girl, so I was like, all right,
Right.
You know,
Seize
it's
the
pretty
moment.
cool at the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
Especially Titty Boy. That's my guy, though.
Shout out to the boy.
He likes titties. I'm cool. No, that's not where the name came from at all, guys.
Yeah, that one. There was some dope ass outfits too. Migos over Versace'd out.
Yeah.
Jaden with the plaque. That was funny.
I
That
don't
was-
really think it's funny anymore.
I thought that was funny.
I thought it was funny like a while ago when it first was weird stuff. Now I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's like not
Okay.
even convenient. Like, what do you carry?
Wait,
around?
it's not even
Oh,
convenient.
yeah.
It's like it's not a clutch.
Right.
It's something you have to carry all night. You don't even have to carry your date all night.
I know. Yeah, he said, forget the date. Let me bring the plaque. Probably
Right. True.
That was it. What else? Was Khalifa was there in the brown outfit? I don't know about that. I don't know about that outfit.
I think
I
the-
like when Wiz Khalifa wears the little short shorts.
Oh
Because
yeah,
of
yeah.
the martial arts.
Muay Thai
That's the new
shorts.
thing, right?
The skinny legs with the tats.
We're getting shorter and shorter in those Instagram videos. All right, well, Ariana Grande and Mac Miller are rumored to have broken up. Do you care?
I didn't know they were together, so no, I
Forget
don't.
Ooh. I mean,
Barry, the engineer over there.
Yo.
Barry's just been 5 years behind everything.
Every
episode.
Amy Winehouse.
Every episode.
I thought Amy Winehouse died yesterday. Like, yo.
Well, she was in this relationship with Russell Brand. No.
Mac and Ariana.
Backing it up. Pregnant Cardi.
Right.
Met Gala.
Oh,
She's having a girl.
she's having a girl. And then paparazzi, her bodyguards beat up somebody.
That
Beat
wanted
them
an
down.
autograph.
Yeah, that
right.
wanted an
Well,
autograph.
she's legally blind, she said, right? So
Yeah.
she didn't see
She
what
didn't
happened.
see
Is that
anything.
what she
She
said?
said,
Yeah.
She said, "I'm Ray Charles to the bullshit."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think her and Nikki talking and whatever, like even that photo op, I think was a pretty cool moment. It wasn't as big as I would think it would be,
No.
and I think maybe they didn't want it to be that.
I don't know. I kind of got photo op from it. Like I kind of got like your
Right.
plan going in on this whole thing. Let's plan
Sure.
it that way. I kind of don't think believe anything's organic anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like they could have been texting each other beforehand. Girl,
True.
let's go out here and pretend. I don't even know anymore. Or was one of the Migos, Quavo, or somebody like the big peacekeeper who brought everyone together behind scenes at the Met Gala.
I think it was.
Possibly, yeah.
I think it was more than anything was Cardi B showing up with Jeremy Scott, the designer. And 2 years ago, Nicki Minaj showed up with Jeremy Scott to the Met Gala.
So Jeremy Scott just
So I feel like he
tags
was,
on to anybody who's the hot female. at
whoever's the hot
moment.
female rapper, and then
Yeah.
I think he was probably that connection right there. Maybe I could I
Possibly.
could be wrong, but I just found it weird that Jeremy Scott's over here like hopping on bandwagons. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, riding that wave.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the photo that did come out, I think it looked like Nikki was touching Cardi's stomach.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right. So I don't know. I mean, could be staged.
Could be
Who
for the
knows?
moment, real
Could be
quick.
for the
You
moment,
know,
right,
like, you
right.
know those club. Hey, how you doing? All right, good seeing you. Yeah, let's stay in touch. Boom. I'll never
Right,
talk to
right.
you ever again. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if they benefit more if they're cool with each other than they both benefit more to be cool with each other than not, right? Like,
Yeah.
the beef's not going to do anything.
They could
you just have to
change-
pick sides.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they could change it for the female, like the way people look at female hip hop. You know, females in hip hop, where it has to be one particular female. Like,
Well, not only that, Nicki and Foxy. I mean, Foxy and Kim haven't gotten along in so long. Like,
Right.
if they would have squashed the beef a long time ago and done a joint thing, it would have been put them in a better place now.
we
than
wouldn't be
not.
talking
Yeah.
about
Right.
Nicki or Cardi. You know, so. Who knows? Maybe we could switch that up. Like maybe like Kanye tweeted out, "I'd like to see Cardi and Nicki Minaj on the tour together." But
Right.
you don't know.
What Kanye says.
Did Kanye broker that?
Huh?
Did Kanye set that up?
More than likely.
Oh yeah, right.
That's, I don't think he works on anything that doesn't involve him, so no, but I don't really know. All right,
Probably not.
guys, really, Mac Miller and Ariana Grande.
No man, that's the news that hurts
I
the
don't care.
most.
I could care less. Kevin Gates out of jail. Why? Everybody said this was a big news item today. He's out of jail and he's post pictures of him and his family.
All I saw was a video of him having dinner with his kids and his wife.
Well, his wife put up something saying how hard it was for him to be able to move or do anything, last week since he was released, that they just have such control over him.
Right.
So I think that we've been kind of wondering where he is musically, socially. I think what we know now is that they've just still, even though he's out of jail, he's being legally held or restricted more than we realized. I
Right.
guess.
I mean, but he looked like he
Because
was
I love that Gates album.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorites. Isla. Isla.
Yeah.
21 songs. I was like, damn, this might be too much, but that
I listened to
album was
shit on the
amazing.
subway home. Yeah. All right, I think that's it. That's the excitement of the week.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some Kevin Gates music soon. You know, That'd be
Right.
pretty cool.
That's what you got out of all of this, okay?
Yeah.
Talked about Spotify for like half hour.
All right,
Thanks.
that's it. Short one, I guess. Short and sweet. Maybe not that short, but sweet, right? We were sweet.
Yeah.
Always sweet.
Always sweet. All right, well, xxlmag.com. Go check it out. We're here. We're there.
Good site.
Everywhere.
Always.
Yep. All right, bye.
Peace.
Later, y'all.
Peace, y'all.